Hello and welcome to today's program. This is the second in the new series of Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall as we embark on our second year. I am Grace and I will be introducing the program for today. You will recall last month, the 17th June to be exact, the United Nations Convention for Combating Desertification, UNCCD, celebrated Droughts and Desertification Day by highlighting the importance of gender equality in land restoration and community resilience. Under the theme, Her Land, Her Rights. Women are very vital in land restoration, yet they often don't have control over land. In many parts of the world, women face significant barriers in securing land rights, and this limits their ability to thrive and prosper. When land becomes degraded and water is scarce, women are often the most affected. It is now time for women and girls to be at the forefront of global land restoration and drought resilience efforts. I believe this will be the greatest investment in the future of humanity. In this new series, we aim to highlight each month the work of two women working towards achieving such goals. Last month, our featured story came from Ellen from Ghana, and there was also contribution from Priyanka from India. In today's program, we will show you how an incredible woman, Yin Yushen, managed to turn the Mars Desert into a thriving ecological park that is bursting with biodiversity, having planted well over 300,000 native trees and plants with at least 1,000 different species, using indigenous techniques to make the desert turn green again. We will also introduce you to the work of Dunia in Lebanon. Our main aim as the Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall team is to encourage the spread of peaceful vibrations that would act as a motivating force to those working on the Great Green Wall Initiative and all initiatives aimed at land restoration and community resilience. To do this, because the Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall is linked to the Environment Initiative of the Brahma Kumaris, we will be focusing on two meditative exercises. And these exercises are to help you to create a silent space within you where you can experience peace. Peace is an unseen force, an energy vibration, which radiates outwards, creating an atmosphere of not just peace, but also of hope and goodwill. So I encourage you to participate in the program, the exercises in meditation, and also enjoy the program. Thank you. See you afterwards.
Yin Yushen was born in a small village. Growing up poor, she explained how her family could barely afford the clothes on her back, let alone food to get by. By the time she was 19, her parents wished for her to get married. They arranged for her to marry the son of a family friend called Bai Wangxiang, who was living in extreme conditions in the Muas Desert, located in Inner Mongolia, northern China. The name of the desert, Muus, comes from the Mongolian language and translates as bad water, attributing to the poor water quality in the area. It is believed that numerous rivers flowed through this region. Over time, the climate changed, and as early as 218 BC, grazing was the main way of life for the local people. And by the 1980s and 1990s, the ecological environment of the Muas Desert had severely deteriorated due to overgrazing and poor land management. The desert had become one of the main sources of sandstorms in the Beijing region. When Yin arrived at her new desert home in 1985, she was shocked. Despite being poor, the condition of her husband's home were much worse than she could have imagined. She recalled the first time she set eyes on the house, she had wept for 7 days. The dwelling was a small mud cave. The roof of the house was constructed out of an assortment of wood tied together, with bits and pieces of rope and straw. You had to bend down to get inside and curl up into a ball to sleep, since lying straight would mean your feet would stick out of the front door. Furthermore, frequent sandstorms would last for days. The wind would blow so much sand around the home that it had to be regularly shoveled away as not to be completely buried. Yin said the sandstorms were so bad that the sand would come out of your eyes, ears and nose, and it would make a pile in your hand. As a kid, Yin had been energetic, hypersocial, and a leader amongst other kids. Suddenly now, as a young woman, she found herself surrounded by a barren desert, with a new husband, who she said doesn't speak very much. She felt desperately alone. In the first 40 days of living there, she said she did not see another human being, and the first time she did, she was so deprived of other human contact that she ran to the man, ultimately scaring him off. The Muas Desert is so desolate because it's such a sterile environment. It's considered a cold desert, with a mean temperature between 6 degrees Celsius and 8.5 degrees Celsius. The mean annual precipitation is between 250 millimeters and 400 millimeters, of which the majority falls in the summer. And the Muas Desert climate is described as having one wind per year, traveling from spring till winter continuously. These winds made it difficult for outsiders to enter the village, which made the situation even more isolating. Yin said that she contemplated leaving the village, and when consulting her husband on the matter, he begged her to stay with him, saying he would not survive without her. Yin even had thoughts of ending her life. Ultimately, she decided to stay, but still frustrated with the living conditions, Yin came to a critical decision that would change her life forever. She decided she would rather wear herself down by planting trees to combat the desert than being beaten by the environment. She knew nothing about planting trees, and since she couldn't read or write and had no one to advise her, learning was all trial and error. She started off with a few trees outside of their cave, and her husband Bai supported the project. He began working elsewhere to earn a little bit of money, which all went to buy seedlings, and they had to beg for food to get by. Despite this, Yin cared for the trees as well as she could. She nourished them with water from their well. She would carry the water on her back over the sand dunes in the harsh conditions. When sandstorms uprooted the seedlings, she tried to replant them. She also plucked insects off of the branches one by one, using twigs as chopsticks. The desiccating wind was particularly challenging, yet she couldn't plant the trees in sheltered hollows, because sand accumulated there and buried everything. Of her first 1,000 trees, only 10 survived. Although Yin had no school learning, she had an active mind. So as she did her household chores, she tried to work out problems in her head. She decided to stabilize the soil with grass, then shrubs, before adding trees. The first time she tried planting grass seeds, sadly, desert mice ate them all. So she tried to plant them deeper by hoeing a furrow, but the mice got them too. Since the couple had 2 sheep, Yin decided to take the sheep with her to plant the seeds in the hoof prints, which worked out well since the sheep's smell masked the seeds, which meant the mice didn't find them and the grass grew. Apart from being a problem solver, Yin was a conceptual thinker. Instead of planting the local willow tree sapling she had done previously that had a low success rate, she instead decided to plant tall hardy trees such as poplars and Mongolian Scotch pines on the outer perimeter to help keep the desert at bay. She planted somewhat smaller trees in the middle, along with stabilizing bushes. Her plan was to create a fortress and afterwards plant fruit trees and crops to protect the center where they lived. After 10 years, Yin's hard work began to pay dividends, because in that part of China, those who plant trees in the desert have a right to use the land. Yin lived on the border of Yuhin Bana and Shanghai province and had planted trees in both districts. Some business people and politicians from Shanghai discovered the trees and paid some local bureaucrats to take much of the land away from her. She couldn't fight them directly, but a distant relative suggested that she contact the media. Yin may not have known how to read, but she was an articulate and confident talker. Reporters came from all over the country to hear her story, and in the end, she won back most of the land that she planted. Then around the year 2000, the government began to officially approve of her and what she did. The government even started to incorporate her techniques into their large-scale afforestation schemes by also planting hardy Mongolian pines and using checkerboard furrows to plant seeds, just as Yin had done to plant her seedlings. Now the poor beggar girl in the barren desert controlled 70,000 hectares of land, and the central government recognized her as a model worker and had decorated her many times with awards. She was even one of the torchbearers in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. It is said there are 5 people's heroes in China, and she is one of them. Her nickname, without irony, is Model Citizen. Internationally, her desert reclamation work has won environmental awards, and she was also nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2005. Every year on Earth Day, which happens to be Yin's birthday, April 22nd, a number of Chinese CEOs come and ceremonially plant trees for a morning. Then they pay for the tree's upkeep during the year. Yin and her husband Bai no longer live in a mud hut. The government paved 8 kilometers of road to her place, then built a small house for her with roof beams from one of her first poplars. There are also several outbuildings, including a museum, a farm-to-kitchen restaurant, and even a big hotel where visitors can stay. Their home and eco-resort is surrounded by 300,000 trees, which they planted over the last 30 years, creating countless oases of bushes and trees on an area of 40 square kilometers. Yin and her husband also planted more than 100 different bush and tree species. They learned which ones grew the best, thus developing a very effective method of fighting against the sand in these areas. Yin is now a respected expert for greening the desert. The couple make a living selling their many crops, such as potatoes, carrots, millet, corns, grapes, and watermelons. They also have pear trees, peach trees, and apricot trees. With the profits from their farm, they hire workers to help plant even more trees. Yin also leads the neighboring villages to plant trees in controlling desertification together. Her story has also motivated many peasants and herdsmen across China to join her in regreening the desert. Yin said, "It takes a lot of time, but someday dew is coming, then rain, not a violent one, not often, but visibly, and then there are bees, birds and butterflies following." Yin is happy that her hard work meant her children do not have to suffer. Even after having a miscarriage from falling down when carrying trees from town to the desert, Yin said, to keep herself motivated, she created a song that she would sing to herself to get through the troubling times. which was called the Desert Hymn.
Om Shanti. Let me go on an inner journey. Going within, I come to the awareness of the eternal being that I am, a being of light, radiating light in the center of the forehead. I allow myself to feel the separate, eternal entity that I am. I am a being of light, and this physical body is my amazing chariot, an instrument designed by nature to give me all the access I need to relationships, communication, contact with the world out there, and also allows me to share my thoughts, my feelings, all that I need to do to connect with others around me. Staying deep within, I connect with the store of peace that I hold within myself. I let my thoughts slow down and choose the one thought of peace. I am a being of light. I am a being of peace. And I connect to the one above, the Supreme, the Divine. As soon as I make the connection, I feel the warmth, the love, the joy of connecting with the eternal parent. But now, my parent knows my greatest need at this moment. And my parent surrounds me with an orb of light. It is a light of love, the light of purity, the light of truth. And this is my protection. Wherever I go, I carry this protection with myself. And staying at home allows me to strengthen this connection. And I extend that protection out to all those whom I love the most, so that they too are surrounded by this light of truth and purity and love. But it reaches out even further and extends across the entire planet, so that the entire human family, all forms of life, and nature itself experiences this safety and protection.
I'm Dunya Khouri, founder and president of the Women's Association of Dar Al Ahmar. It's a dry land where you can see how dry it is. But when women get the right to the land, this is how the land is a green area where we have planted around 2,000 trees, around 5,000 different plants, medicinal and culinary plants. And this is how we built our center, our rural development center, where we have all our activities, capacity building for women, and where we develop our rural tourism projects, where we have agrotourism, and we have all kinds of tourism, religious and natural tourism. This is how women can do when they get the right to the land. This land was donated from the municipality of Deir al-Ahmar to the Women's Association of Deir al-Ahmar. This is what women can do when they have the right to the land.
Welcome to this meditation on peace. I position myself very comfortably wherever I am, releasing any tension in any part of my body, relaxing completely. I take a deep breath in and I breathe out gently, releasing any tension. I relax completely. I'm now paying attention to my breathing. I feel the gentle movement of my abdomen as I breathe in and out. The gentle movement of the air through my nostrils. I realize how peaceful all of this is. How gentle all of this is. It's a reminder of my nature of peace, my natural state of peace. As it is said, peace comes from within. And I now gently focus on that inner, peaceful reality. The inner, peaceful, silent space within. And I absorb, focus on this reality and being in this peaceful, quiet space within. I feel so silent in this inner, quiet space. And as I stabilize here, I realize that while I'm awake, fully aware, no external disturbance can reach this inner, peaceful space, and that this space can serve all disturbances of the outside as long as I position myself. Come back to this quiet space. I absorb the silence and the peace within completely. And now remembering that peace is the need of the time, peace is the need of the world, I gently let the energy of peace from within flow outwards like beautiful vibrations of peace. I let this flow to the Sahel, to Africa, to the world. And as I do this, I delve deeper and deeper into peace. And I also feel the support of the universal source of unlimited peace, and gently turn my gaze upwards towards this star-like, this radiant, star-like being. I feel so much friendliness, a natural connection, a natural link of love with this one. And as we link, I feel powerful vibrations of peace from this star-like friend. It's like a laser beam of the light and might of peace that I'm absorbing deeply into my inner, silent, peaceful space. And I become totally peaceful, totally silent. And as I take this energy of peace from my star-like friend of peace from beyond, I also spread this energy of peace outwards to the Sahel, to the rest of Africa, to the rest of the world, into the unlimited. I let this unlimited peace from the source of peace flow, reaching to all those who need peace, wherever they may be. And as I come towards the end of this meditation, as I come back into the awareness of the physical space I am in, I remember how this energy of peace is helping everyone working on the great green wall have more determination, more courage, more cooperative interactions with everyone, and how this energy of peace is contributing so significantly towards the success of the great green wall. And I wish peace to everyone. Wish peace to the whole planet. Thank you.
Thank you all for sparing the time to join this program today. Wasn't Yin's story inspiring? makes you feel that really nothing is impossible with courage and determination. I trust you actively participated in those incredible meditation exercises. It is my humble plea to you to take time, just a few seconds, a few minutes each day, to enter into your silent space within and experience the peace of a calm inner state. Connecting to that peace and the supreme source of peace, while radiating peace out into the atmosphere, spreading throughout the Sahel, throughout Africa and the world. So until next month, I wish you a life filled with loving vibrations of peace. Thank you and goodbye.